Jai Ma. This video is about the feminine path and gender identity. Home. We live in a patriarchal society and have had this patriarchal society for thousands of years. The feminine path, which all religions have as a part of their theology, their experience, has been suppressed, abused, vilified, killed, crucified. The way of the heart, the way of love, compassion, surrender, acceptance, nurturing. These are not qualities that our society or our religions reflect. In the Hindu religion, there is a long history of the feminine path, the path of the Shaktas, worshippers of the Divine Mother in all her forms. Even though this is a long tradition in India, it is still a very small percentage of the population. Most of the population, their primary deity is a male deity, such as Shiva or Krishna. Just the wild nature, the unpredictability, the spontaneity, the non-conventional, the wildly changing, very hard to be codified into a religion. Something that's hierarchical, patriarchal, and masculine is much easier to codify into a religion, to write things down about, to read about, to have priests and all sorts of institutions. But something that's horizontal, unpredictable, spontaneous, very hard to codify and make a religion of. We can think of Taoism, the way. There are Taoist priests and things like that in China, but it's not really a religion the way we think it is in the West. They've taken some institutional steps, but to be true to the Tao is, by its very essence, non-hierarchical and non-structural. In the same way, to be a devotee to the Divine Mother, especially to her form as Kali, is to be non-hierarchical in a way apart from society and following the beat of her drum rather than any organized principle or societal structure. Now, most religions revere the Holy Spirit or Kundalini as the way to advance spiritually. If you look through human history, it's always been there. It's in our myths, in our fairy tales, in our legends. The sword and the stone. One example. So, how to incorporate Kundalini amidst the patriarchy, amidst the horizontality, amidst the hierarchy? Very difficult. So the Kundalini aspect in most religions is hidden or suppressed. People feel very threatened by the Kundalini phenomena, the Kriyas, speaking in strange languages, automatic, spontaneous yogic movements, hysterically laughing or crying, all these phenomena, shaking. People don't want to be in contact with that, most people. It triggers a lot of fear in them, fear about control and surrender. The feminine path, the way of Shakti, is much more attractive when you're in a woman's body than in a male body. Your gender identity seems to play a big part in which path you're attracted to. I haven't looked at the numbers, but just from my own personal experience and the people I come in contact with, the people who are more attracted to this path, the path of Kundalini, the path of the Divine Mother and Kali, overwhelmingly are women. Where men seem to pursue a more willful engagement with yoga, having to do with a lot of exercises, pranayama, asana, self-inquiry exercises, more the yoga of knowing, jnana. So they don't want to particularly invoke Kundalini, and if they do, they would like to control her. They would like to manipulate her through certain pathways and through certain chakras. So it's a very willful engagement and a patriarchal, controlling, hierarchical engagement with Kundalini itself, which in my experience is not a good idea, but others might have a different experience. So your gender identity is such a big part of your egoic structure. After being a human being, the next part of your egoic structure, the most solid aspect, is your gender identity. But part of getting to oneness and to transcendence and to, yes, one with everything, to know that you are everything and everything is within you, and you are everyone and everything is one with you, and you are, and this is, and I am that, is gender disidentification. Not that you don't still have a male or female body, and you acknowledge that, and you celebrate that, and you enjoy that. It's that you are both male and female and beyond. I'll repeat that. You are both male and female. You have a female side and a male side. Most of us acknowledge that. And also beyond all gender. Without gender. The formless aspect of the divine. So following this feminine path of God, the Shakta path, the Kali path, being in a male body first takes some open-mindedness to even have as your Ishta Devata, your God of choice, your personal God, your form that you relate to. In a male body, to worship and be devoted to a female deity already is unusual and challenging for most people. In this path, I've talked about in previous videos, bhava is a feature. Bhava meaning embodiment of a divine energy, of an aspect of the one, having Kali bhava, Kali dropping into the body and sharing a consciousness with her embodied. You can see from the other videos. So imagine you're in a male body and a very feminine aspect of this oneness comes into your body and begins to animate it. Or you're aware that it's animating it. And suddenly the movements you're making are feminine. Mudras, the way your hands move, your voice, they're all moving like Kali. When this first happened to me, I went into a bit of a panic. Yeah, like what if it doesn't go away? And I'm just this feminine form of the divine in this male body. And I have to deal with that socially and societally for the rest of my life. Oh no. But after about 10 or 15 minutes, I pretty much let that go and said, whatever, bring it on. But I imagine most people may not relate that way, and even subconsciously build very strong barriers so that won't happen to them. And this gender identity doesn't even just fall into that kind of identity, but there's the identity of being in a human body. So that's your first primary egoic certainty, is I'm a human being. But you can reach states of meditations where you're no longer human. You seem to be different animal species, a snake or a monkey or a bird, making those sounds and moving like those creatures. So you have to, the bonds of your ego, that you think you're human, that you think you're male or female, etc., have to be considerably loosened before you experience these states. And the more wedded you are to the idea that you're this or that you're male or you're female, or it's like this or it's like that, those are impediments from you experiencing and realizing yourself as all that there is. You are all the butterflies, you are all the gods and goddesses. But if you have an impediment that I'm human and I'm male, it cannot coexist. So any identity has to go. You are not what you think your identity is. Jai Ma.